welcome to Embrace the Madness. It's a podcast where we turn all the weird, sticky parts of being a human into things that bring us joy and make the most out of life. I'm your host, Madeline, and I'm super excited to bring this episode to you. I got to interview my best friend of 22 years. That's a long time. And yeah, I'm just so grateful we got to do this interview. Tristan's been such a special person in my life, and she's grown into this wonderful, inspirational human, and I'm so grateful that she's my best friend and that she's killing it, dude. She's literally making a name for herself and helping make Memphis a better place, and I'm so excited that she shared a little bit of her journey and brought some of her love and light to the podcast. We were having a conversation someday, and she mentioned radical acceptance, and it kind of flagged something in my brain because I had read this book called Radical Acceptance by Tara Brach, and it's all about kind of embracing who you are, acknowledging these dark parts, but also these light parts, and learning how to kind of embrace duality within yourself and still look at yourself with compassion and radical acceptance. And so she has been using that skill in her life and career, and I'm excited for her to talk about it and for y'all to listen, because I really do think, and you can hear us chat about it, but it's such an important skill, especially when years like last year or just when shit starts to hit the fan, there's not really much that we feel like we can do. We feel out of control. We feel just all this is a whirlwind of emotions, but when you can stay aware of what's happening in the moment and stay aware of yourself and your feelings, then you have a little bit better grip on the situation and you actually have a lot more control than you think. So thanks so much for tuning in, and I'm going to go ahead and let you listen to the interview. I hope you enjoy. Okay, so today I'm welcoming my best friend of... Oh no, I was supposed to find out what number it was before I started.
Well,
20...
How old are we now?
7.
I almost said 22. Well, we knew
Probably
each other
22
since
years. Yeah, holy.
it's a long time.
Best friend of 22, we'll say years on the podcast today, and I'm super excited. Tristan's been my best friend through and through. We grew up living next door to each other, and I can't believe she's on the podcast now, but she's going to be here talking about radical acceptance and what that means, and I totally want to ask her about what she's done career-wise and how she got to where she is today and all the other stuff that best friends talk about. So, hello,
good.
Tristan.
Hey, I'm happy to be here. It's really exciting. I'm so proud of you for having this podcast.
Thanks.
But yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course. I'm on I think this is episode 53.
Wow.
It's hard to think about.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's been a whole year.
A lot of insight, spreading joy
or
around the
ramblings.
world. You know.
However,
if people listen, then they listen. So
true. Thanks. Yeah, so I guess, I don't know, start from the beginning when you were a wee baby.
A wee baby,
or wherever you want to start.
About
I know you weren't always doing psychology.
Yeah.
She's on track to get her PhD right now, so that's where she's at now. I guess just start because I remember you weren't always doing psychology.
Right.
What made you think about, what was going through your head when you were like, maybe I want to do this for a major? Because weren't you doing communications or journalism?
Yeah. Well, okay. So I was originally majoring in psychology, and then I changed it to journalism because I was like, I don't want to go to grad school, and I know for a fact that if I want to do anything with this psychology degree, that I'll most likely have to go to grad school. And I was like, I'm not smart enough for that. I'll never get into grad school kind of thing. And so
Oh.
I just put myself down, and then I didn't like journalism, and I was like, well, I was actually like enjoying my classes at least in psychology, and like maybe grad school like wouldn't be a bad thing. And so I went back to psychology, and you were also majoring in psychology. So we got to take like one class
It was
together,
like after
however
so
many
many
years.
years,
We have
yeah.
one class.
But
But
we took 2, right? Wait,
we took stats 1, well, the research class, the first one and the second one, I think.
together.
Yeah, so I guess 2.
Yeah, because we had Dr. Rosh.
Yes. And then yeah, so I was in psychology, and then I decided that I wanted to go into the counseling field, and the University of Memphis has a really good counseling program. And so then I went into the master's program at U of M. But like basically like why I was interested in it, like as you know, like my family had issues growing up, like with Chase, my brother. He had like mental health concerns and like behavioral concerns that I was like his third parent, basically trying to deal with that.
That older sibling life.
Right. Half parent, half sibling. Yeah, it was a mess for a long time, and he was in therapy and out of therapy, and he was doing better and then not doing better. He's doing better, by the way, right now, but it made me more interested in psychology and like that route. And I'm actually like working at a place where he was recommended by his counselor to go to, but he didn't end up going
Is it
to
like
it.
an inpatient thing?
It's a partial hospitalization program. His therapist thought it would be good for him, but my parents, like they weren't always pro mental health. Like they still have that stigma about it and think like,
Yeah, I feel like, yeah.
yeah,
It wasn't really until our generation that it was like, yeah, this is important.
right. Yeah. And we tried going to family therapy and my master's program, and we had like 3 sessions, and then stuff with Chase like just exploded and we didn't go back. And my mom actually continued with that therapist, and so she found a therapist through all that. But
And she's still seeing that one.
yeah, she's actually
That's
still
awesome.
seeing that therapist, and so it was good in that way, even if it wasn't good for family therapy.
Yeah.
But then I decided, I was in the master's program, and then I was like, well, I'm really passionate about this field, and the field, out as great as it is, still has its problems. And so I just wanted to get my doctorate because of how I want to change, like help improve the field through like research and like advocacy. And so that's why I wanted to pursue my doctorate. And I'm doing it right after, like, because I just graduated August 2000 and
So like a year or 2 ago?
19. Yeah, I think 19. I graduated in August 2019, and then I started in August 2019 with the doc program.
I mean, the whole thing's been back to back, hasn't it? Did you
Right.
take a break from undergrad to mess?
No. Yeah, which there are benefits in taking a break, and there are a lot of people in my cohort that did take a break, and some have their licensure, like their counseling license. But I know myself, and I was already I was in like academia, and that was like I had that drive right now, and so I thought might as well start right now. Like I didn't know that I was going to have 1 semester and a half, and then we were going to go to Zoom's in a university
yeah.
and be online because of the pandemic. But we make it work, and we're flexible. But yeah,
That's something I thought about. Have y'all had like a whole entire curriculum of like how to improve and like ensure that teletherapy is efficient? Like, do y'all have like protocol and like things that you study,
Oh,
like look in
yeah.
the camera or like, because I mean, I feel
Yeah.
like, because it's interesting because I had only gone to see my therapist for one in-person session, and then the corona thing happened. But I don't feel like teletherapy's been any different,
Right. Yeah,
which
and
is good, I guess.
everyone's kind of different on how they view it. And like before this, it was mentioned and as an option, like it's always an option. And some people do that just for convenience, and it's been helpful to reach like, like rural populations
Mhm.
and that kind of thing. But no one really had like, unless you were
Right.
already doing teletherapy, no one really knew like what ethical considerations there
Mhm.
might be. Like, say for instance, your client says that they're gonna kill themselves and you're not in person, like what are you gonna do versus
Right.
like if they were in your office and you could actually like
Intervene, yeah.
de-escalate them and in person when yeah, it can be kind of scary. So there's like a whole bunch of like ethical things to consider about teletherapy, but in general, like I feel like it's can be very similar. Like, yeah, like sometimes like the technology can get in the way. Like with my therapist, I have had a couple teletherapy and our call is dropped a couple
Yeah.
times. She's older and the first time I don't think knew that I could only see like her nose and her
Oh, no.
forehead. And I was like, "Hey, Carrie, I can't really see your whole face, but just like working out the logistics part." But one good thing about teletherapy is you can actually like see like learn more about the client's context and like
Like,
see
seeing their
them
room
or
or
like yeah, like seeing them in their environment and like say for instance if it's like a mom of 5 and she's constantly having like interruptions and stuff and that kind of just gives you more of a picture of
that makes
her
sense.
home life. So like it does have some benefits. And
Yeah.
obviously it's convenient cuz so you don't have to leave your house. So
Yeah.
that's good too.
I feel like this interview, like I know I want to talk about radical acceptance, but I'm also like opening up for like all these other things just because we have like 22 years of history. But
Oh
I'm like,
yeah.
my mind's going blank. I'm like, I don't know what to ask her.
No, that's okay. Just overall like I don't know. What do you
Is grad school like a lot harder than you thought it would be? Is it more manageable than you thought it would be?
It's
What is
a
what were your expectations?
It's a love-hate relationship. It's more love though because like obviously I wouldn't have gone on to my
Right.
the doctoral program if I didn't like school. So, like I one thing about counseling in the master's program and then also in the doc program is like you learn a lot about yourself through it because a lot of times you're practicing on your classmates and then you have to do like role plays or didactic experiences and then you obviously have to take classes in all these different areas and so it brings up stuff sometimes. Like I know there's one time where I was sharing with my friend who was my counselor
Hmm.
at that time. We were practicing and then I shared something. I honestly don't remember what I shared with her, but she started crying and then I started crying and then my teacher, she was like walking around different rooms to check in and she was like, "Do we need to stop and like have a group hug?" And I was like, "Yeah, yes we do." And I don't know, it's just like you're closer with your professors, you're closer with your cohort and I don't know. I feel
Like
like
on
I've
that emotional level.
yeah, like I feel like I've changed and I've in a good way though. Like I've grown
Yeah.
from it. And I would just I would do it all over again if I like had to. But yeah, it's definitely a rewarding experience, but yes, the work is a lot and I'm still learning to know my limits and to be able to say no when I'm asked
Hmm.
to like help with my dissertation or be on this research team or hey, you want to be the student member of this organization. I'm like, get overwhelmed. Like you want to say yes to all the things, but you have to know your limits.
Yeah.
So a lot of it is learning to set boundaries too.
For sure.
Yeah.
And those are the hardest.
Yeah. I'm still not great at it, so it's a work in progress for sure.
I'm sure you're doing great.
I'm trying.
You didn't have the boundaries to say no to me. I'm just
Well,
kidding.
I
I
would
know you
never
want to do
say
this.
no to you.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, so let's walk through all your accolades really fast because I feel like you've done so many cool ass things. Like you were the president of, help me out,
well, I'm the president of
currently.
Chi Sigma Iota, which is the Counseling Honor Society.
How long is that the same? I feel
Well, I was the social chair for
oh yeah.
like this organization for pretty much my entire master's, and then they, with COVID and everything, like they had a low amount of interest, and so I was like, well, we can't let the organization just like fall apart, and so I was like, well, I guess I could be the president. Because like the former president was like, I think you should be the president. I think you should be the president. I was like, I don't want to be the president, and now I am the president. But I'm not going to be president next year because I'm going to step down. I'm still going to be involved because it's like one of those things, like I can't let it go now that I've been involved with it. Like I've been on the board for so long, but I'm going to probably take like a role that's not as, all inclusive.
Yeah. Is that one of the things that you get a cord for?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And
are you gonna have a whole rainbow of cords?
well, I will have one other cord. It's like the regular honors association for the whole school, but
For psychology or just the school?
the whole school. So it's like the top however
like the
many
counseling
percent.
Or Memphis?
University of Memphis.
Okay.
So it's like the top 5% of undergrads or top 2% of grad students, like GPA wise or
Hell
something.
yeah.
I don't really remember the percentages, but
do you just get straight A's?
Yeah. Well, and I didn't get straight A's in undergrad. I found that I got the highest grades in the classes that I was interested in. So like
as more or
yeah.
the more you like focus in on your
like my grades
niche.
in undergrad improved as I went on. My junior and senior year, I got like mostly A's because I was taking all psychology classes and actually interested in it instead of like taking geology or something. Yeah. Those random gen eds that you're not like super interested in. I would put in less effort in them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I'm so proud of you. That's crazy.
I'm proud of you.
We were always like, thanks, growing up, and I feel like I was always the academic oriented one, and then
my mom always said, she was like, Maddie's gonna work at NASA one day. You probably remember her saying that. Like she said that so much. I might DJ
for NASA.
Yeah, you throw their parties. Yeah. You were always like you got a whole bunch of awards and then studied abroad and can speak French and
yeah, but I think I use school as like an escape. So that's why.
Well, part of me still like I have accepted the fact that I wasn't ready to be in the real world yet, and so school.
You mean like career?
Like career-wise, yeah. Because like I still don't know exactly what I want to do career-wise. Like I want to be in higher ed and like in academia, but also want to practice. So it's a way of not having to make that decision yet.
Well, you have a PhD. Well, you will have a PhD, so you'll be able to do really anything.
I hope
in terms of that field. But I guess psychology is one of the cool ones because normally if you get like a PhD in history or philosophy, you have to teach.
Yeah.
So
yeah, unless you can do research, I guess, or write books. Like a lot of people will add a chapter to a textbook. You can get money from that. Well, you actually don't get that much money from that.
But you could write your own textbook.
No.
Says you right now.
Yeah, well, maybe like once I have like a super specialty, I could.
Have you picked out what your dissertation is yet?
Yeah. So I am going to look at the intersectionality of privileges of future counselor educators and looking at how that informs their counselor identity and their like teaching pedagogy and how it informs like their teaching practices. So like I'm really interested to see like one, if they can identify like their privileges and like if
if they're self-aware.
Yeah, like how much that factors into like their professional identity as like a counselor educator, because that privilege is like one of those topics I feel like gets overlooked in, because like we always learn about multicultural and we have to take multicultural counseling, but like privilege is not as talked about as like racism or like oppression. I think it's easier to separate yourself from privilege, and that's why it's maybe not discussed as much, because it can be harder to like quantify, where like as you can be like, oh well, that was clearly like a microaggression kind of thing.
Like there's not like a rubric or anything.
Right. And there are so many types of privilege, like racial privilege, like class, religion, sexual orientation, gender, all those things. So I think it's interesting to see how those intersect with each other, to see like how that like forms one's identity, you know? Because you could have like a privileged, like for me, like I'm privileged because I'm like a white person. I'm also like straight, but then I'm also a female, which is less privileged, you know? And so like how these different things come together is really interesting to me.
Have you found, like, I guess, are you still early in that?
Oh yeah.
Like your research? Like you haven't really found any findings yet? Found findings?
Right. No, like because like we have to do a residency project and a dissertation.
What does that mean, residency? Like you go practice?
No, you would think, but no, it's actually like you have to come up with your, like I took the residency class, and in this class you have to basically come up with a study and basically write everything up and then submit it to the IRB. And so
for anyone who doesn't know, that's the
institutional review board, to make
sure we don't make sure
we don't harm people with research.
Or animals.
Yeah. Sorry. I don't
No, it's okay.
I don't work with rats like Maddie did. But yeah, so once I submit that, like technically I have an incomplete in that class right now because my chair hasn't approved my study yet. He said he's approved it, but he hasn't actually, technical things. Anyways, once I get it submitted, then I will get the grade for that class. And so, but you don't have to actually do the study, but
it's just like
they say like, well, why not? Like you already have a perfect study that's approved right here. Like might as well like run the study.
They're qualified to approve it? Like they're a member of the IRB?
Oh no, but like once we do get approval, our professors are like, well, why don't you
try?
Yeah. And so I'm doing quantitative, which I'm going to do a survey to future counselor educators for my residency. And then I'm going to do qualitative for my dissertation. And so I'm going to use the survey and like the information I get back on the survey to help me form my dissertation and see if I want to make any changes based on what I find. Because I want to do more in-depth interviews for
and that's how you would get the qualitative?
Yeah.
Because I know quantitative is like numbers and measuring.
Right.
And then qualitative is more like subjective.
Yeah, and it's like, well, it's like interviews, like how you get your data, like through interviews, through observations, through
it's
focus
just
groups.
a different way of measuring data.
Yeah.
Okay. So are future counselor educators like students?
Yeah.
Like that's where you're going to get your
right. So
info?
Students in the same program I'm in, but from other schools, because obviously I can't really survey my cohort because they obviously know what my study is about.
Sure, yeah.
So for conflict of interest. But yeah, so hopefully once that gets approved, I can send out my survey to people and hopefully I'll get some responses.
That's exciting. Like what kind of questions are you going to ask? Just like where do they find privilege in their lives?
Right. Well, first I'm asking them about like if they identify, like first I'm like I'll have a lot of demographic information and then like whether or not they consider their different identities as privileged or not, like their own perception of that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because I want to see, like, also, like, if they think that they have privilege, because I think that's really important for future counselor educators to understand and be aware. Like, it is subjective to a certain
Right.
degree.
Yeah, I feel like that's what I was about to say. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's become such a huge topic, not just for counselors, but
Right.
just like for humans.
Yeah.
And like, it seems like it would be subjective, but it's kind of just this objective thing
Mm-hmm.
that's not good or bad. It just is.
Yeah. Right. Um, and so I'm looking at that, and then also how much each of their identities, so like how much their gender identity, how much their religious identity, how much that impacts their professional identity, like plays a role into that.
Can you talk about professional identity? Just like,
Yeah, so like professional identity would consist of like everything that they do, like, so as a counselor, as a teacher, as a professor, as a researcher, as a like an advocate, as someone that maybe like is in leadership and is in organization and works at like um with like legislation and that kind of stuff, like all kinds of those things.
would it be like how their objective privilege affects their identity or how their subjective? Or I guess you're looking at both. Like,
Yeah,
how does
they're
it, how would it
subjective probably.
manifest? How would
Yeah.
it manifest through their identity, professional identity? I think that's what I'm just like, how would you know? Like what
Oh.
topics they talk about or
Yeah. So a lot of like what we learn about is like how the first step of like multicultural like competency is to being self-aware, and so
yeah.
seeing how aware they are, and then if they think that it affects their practice, because it will, like, inevitably, like you're like me being a white female heterosexual, my frame of reference is different
Sure. Yeah.
based on that. And so knowing that coming into like a classroom or a counseling session or as a supervisor to another counselor, like knowing where your identities and how they might affect your beliefs and your values and how those translate to your work. So,
That's so cool.
yeah, I never, it's a lot. Like I never like thought about like how much is involved with it, because like originally I was just looking at why privilege, but then obviously like when you're thinking of studies
Like
you
the
got to
different
see like
layers.
where's the gap in the research, and there's less about intersectionality,
And that would just be like
the how your privileges intersect and work together or don't work together. But yeah, it's when you actually put in all of the privileges, it can be overwhelming because there are so many ways to view it. But
that would be some really cool. You got to show me what the data and the
yeah,
graphs look like
you
when
can
you
read
get them all.
my 100 and
Yes.
so page dissertation when
Yes.
I'm done.
You know I will.
That'd be so fun.
Yeah, when I was writing I was just an
Your
undergrad
thesis.
thesis, but it was still like
Well, I didn't even do an undergrad thesis, so
yeah.
yeah. So yeah, it's a lot.
Did you do one for masters or did you do something?
We didn't have to do a thesis.
Oh, so this will be your first one.
Yeah, like I've done like
Nice.
research.
Yeah.
But like I've not done like a.
How many? It's like 100 pages.
It'll probably be more than that.
Holy shit.
It could be like 300 technically.
Yeah, but how many pages are your references? Like 20?
Probably. Yeah.
That was always my favorite part, like, because I always love that part about research papers.
Like doesn't count the reference page.
Right.
Like or the title page. Those aren't included. Or the
I just love
abstract
doing
page.
like the MLA format or now APA.
APA,
But
yeah.
I was just like, this is easy. Formatting. Did you ever use like EasyBib?
Yeah, a little bit.
I always like those.
Yeah.
Well, because I think we were probably the last generation or so. Because don't you remember we used to do research papers on like index cards? Or like you had to write your sources on an index card and you turned them in like different levels. And then you would like get your notes.
Yeah, I
And
remember
then
that.
probably one of the last generations where like we weren't allowed to use the internet. for
Oh, yeah. I
sources.
remember you only have, like, books.
Right.
We had to go to the library and check out things,
And
which I'll still check out a book.
yeah, I
Like,
love
I I'll still do
books.
that, but obviously, I'm not gonna base
Right.
my entire research on print
Right.
materials.
Yeah, because then it's just a lot. I feel like it's a lot easier to skim articles.
Yeah.
Do you get on PubMed? I mean, I guess. Or Google
W
Scholar.
Yeah, and then, like, the U of M, has a whole bunch of resources and databases and all
Okay.
kinds of stuff.
Okay. Dang, that's bringing back memes.
So much fun.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, that's super cool. I feel like it's super relevant today, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Well, yeah, I changed it because of all of this. Um, because like with everything that happened this summer is like when I was actually thinking about changing it, and then like once, because like I had another idea, and I was gonna look at because like I'm also interested in like suicide prevention and
sure.
awareness, and I was gonna look at college students and um suicidality, but it was very like it wasn't like I couldn't figure out the right route to go. And then like once everything this summer happened, it kind of just clicked for me. And so I think that was helpful.
Yeah.
Because now I have like a better sense of direction
Well,
and
it's
like
so
where I want to
specific.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was more broad for a long time, and I finally got it more specific.
Yeah.
Because
That's like
it was
perfect
very
as a research
overwhelming.
question.
Yeah. And it can like branch off into other things as well, cuz like I'm on a research team and we're like looking at race-based trauma, and I was already like looking at that before I changed this, and so I'd already like read a lot about that, which race-based trauma is different than privilege, but like obviously it's still in like the multicultural realm of
Like
things.
under that umbrella.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talk about that.
Yeah, like I am on a research team we have this research team which is like with U of M, Florida State University, and Lindsey Wilson. It's like 3 schools, and we're looking at race-based trauma. Right now we're just looking, it's like one of the beginning studies. We're looking to see if programs include race-based trauma in their curriculum, and so we're like looking at syllabi and their course materials from other programs to see like how they're including it, if they're including it. So yeah, we're starting on that right now, so that's fun. But I've just like had to read a lot about that, and it's just been very relevant with like in the summer with like the Black Lives Matter and the protests and everything, and just basically like race-based trauma is like can present very similar to PTSD, but it is.
Can you talk about what is it? The objective
Yeah, so it's like the
definition or whatever.
effects of like racial trauma, and so like from being oppressed, being like either it could be like apparent, or it can be, I forgot the word I'm trying to think of, perceived.
Mm,
I don't know if that's the right word. Racism. And so it's just basically how the effects of racism, oppression, microaggressions, like anything like this, and then like vicarious trauma, watching things, like watching the video of like George Floyd and how that can have vicarious trauma through that, and
vicarious meaning.
like through someone else. Seeing the police shootings of like innocent Black people, that can be traumatic for a person of color, because they're like, well, that could easily be
Sure.
me or my
Yeah.
brother or my son, daughter, whatever. And that can manifest itself in like a trauma response, and it can present very similarly to PTSD. And
Yeah.
so
Do you think would that be like in the realm of like complex PTSD, or that's a little bit different?
it could be. And so like
Isn't complex like if it happens consistently too?
yeah, it can be hard because like if you're still going through it, it's one of those things that can be that counselors need to be aware of, and also need to know that it's one of those things that's ongoing, and it can be difficult to, like, you probably maybe don't always, you don't fully heal from that because you might still be experiencing it, but basically just learning understanding like what this is. And if you're able to understand like, hey, I'm experiencing this because of prior experiences or like what I'm actually going through, can be very helpful for people. Like just
Like the clients.
yeah, like clients. It's just really important for therapists to be aware of that because like undoubtedly like that will affect a client that you have. I've talked to, because like I work in the dean of students office, and I've met with so many students who are just going through it because of everything that happened. Like they just like don't know what to do. They feel anxious all the time. This one girl, she was afraid to leave her house and just run around the block because of Ahmaud Arbery. Because of that situation, she was actually afraid because she was an avid runner, and after that happened, she was like, I don't even know if I like want to go run anymore, like kind of thing. And it's a very real situation, and it's something that we need to be aware of as counselors, like as people in general, like how this affects others, because it can be a lifelong battle. So
I'm so proud of you for doing all this. That's awesome.
thanks.
I mean, we've talked about it on the surface, but
yeah.
I mean,
I just think it's so needed, and especially now, like you can't be afraid to talk about it, and like you're not always gonna be able to get it right when talking about it, but that's okay. And like being able to be like, I don't know everything about this, and I want to know more, and I want to be informed. And so like when talking with clients, if say like they're of a different ethnicity than you, pointing that out at the beginning, being like, hey, like I see we have differences, and I'm just checking in with you, just getting a read on like how you're doing with that. And that way, like if you bring that, like if you speak to that at the beginning, then the goal is to hopefully, like after you build rapport, that hopefully if anything comes up, racial injustice, that they would feel comfortable bringing that up and sharing that with you, because it's likely that they will come into contact with some kind of racism or oppression, and they probably do every day. So it's one of those things.
Yeah, that's super needed.
Yeah.
I feel like growing up in Memphis too, like I feel like that's a thing. And I guess I've always wondered like what role can I play just being of a different color?
Right. And it's up to us. Like we're the ones with the power. And so we can't leave it up to Black people to fix the issue because they're not the ones that hold the power. And so we can't just like sit back and do nothing, because then we're part of the problem.
Right.
Yeah. It's
I think you're doing a great job of that and doing what you can in your time and energy and research. Yeah, for sure. Well, and I think that's something that I try to think about too, is just how can I do that in my means or my platforms and stuff.
Yeah. And it can be overwhelming because like it's one of those things, like you're not going to fix the world's problems, and you can still do something, at least speaking out or like sharing like your opinions and speaking up for others, advocating, like you went to a few protests. So like that is getting involved, like nothing's gonna change unless a large part of our population actually thinks that something needs to change.
Right. And it seems like we're navigating in that direction.
Yeah.
I know it's like so polarized that it doesn't feel like it's going anywhere. Like I know just living in Tennessee kind of feels like we're going backwards.
We're on an island. Well, not really. We're surrounded by
I've
like
always
Arkansas,
thought the South was just
and
weird.
Yeah, well,
just like
Shelby County, we're like our only like blue county amongst the Red Sea.
Yeah.
But which like politics really like doesn't mean like has to do with anything, but
Right, I hate that it's become, and I don't know if it was because it was an election year or
I hate that it's political.
Yeah. Well, and I also wonder too.
Human rights,
Right. if like because politics are so interwoven with identity
Right.
that it actually like goes well, not goes well, but just like
It's enmeshed.
because your identity is wrapped around and because like privilege and the way you look at race and things like that's so wrapped around identity too, and it's
Yeah.
like
Right. Like your political ideation, depending on where you live, could be a privilege. And so like us in Shelby County not being Republican, like I don't like to claim a party, even though
right.
obviously
Well, I'm
I'm
not a Democrat
probably
anymore either.
Yeah. And so but
I'm a nothing.
I'm just, whatever I want to be that day. But like if
I'm
we
confused.
Right. Like we're technically in Shelby County the majority, but like if you were to go anywhere else in this state, then
Right.
we wouldn't be. Also, like you have to think about your life goals. Like my profession is definitely more progressive than say, I don't know, school teachers maybe. I don't know. I'm just throwing something. Coal miners, business degree majors, like
sure.
it's very possible. I'm not saying everyone, I'm just saying like in general, just based on like our ethical standards and it's more progressive than say like business might be, which not saying that they're less progressive. I'm just saying that like
you're gonna start another war, Tristan.
It's more likely. I just know a lot of business majors.
Right. They just don't deal.
Right.
I mean, hopefully now, like, corporations are being faced with,
Right.
like, are we including, like, these things and talking about a more specific diversity plan? And
yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's really exciting. I feel like I'm sure, yeah, it's super needed in Memphis, super needed around the country, super needed around the world.
Right. Yeah.
That's
And
exciting.
I feel like our world is moving in the right direction.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think we're always getting better. I think we're just, yeah, like hyper focused on the present day. And so it's like really intense right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's hard, like when there is such an extreme opposite, like it can be hard to see the progress that's being made, I guess, when there's so much like division and like divisiveness. But like as a whole, I got pretty inspired by all the protests this summer and how it was worldwide, and it just seemed a lot more far-reaching than it ever has. So fingers crossed, like we can only hope that we keep going in the right direction.
I feel like we will. I mean, I don't know if it's people are going to be shamed into it, but I mean, I feel like we are.
Yeah.
I know for sure. I think we do kind of hold this sentiment of, yes, we just elected a new president, but I don't think people are going to like go back. Hopefully they don't go back into their shell or back on the couch and pretend like nothing's.
Yeah, like the fact that like
whew, we can stop now.
We don't don't have to pay as close attention to what's going on in government doesn't mean that we shouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like throughout the whole thing too is, and my mom's always been pretty active, but like inspired me to pay attention to local government. And so I think that was a big thing that I realized just this year is it might not seem like you have a lot of control or can change a lot, especially like, oh yeah, my vote doesn't matter for the president, blah, blah. Your vote does matter when you're voting in city elections or county elections, and really just paying attention to who are the candidates. Like I watched a couple of
like reading about them, seeing what their platform is. Like
watching how certain county commissioners or city council people vote on certain issues. Like you can watch their Zooms. It's crazy.
You can?
Yeah, it's all because like before the pandemic, it was accessible to the public. And so they were like, I guess let's put it on Zoom. But yeah, just like watching some of them vote and you're like, holy shit, we elected those people in office and they're voting against.
Right. Like they're not living up to what they said they would do.
Right.
Yeah. I like that. I've always thought it was interesting that you can see how they vote on every single thing.
Yeah. Well, and I think hopefully we can keep like the transparency thing going. Moving forward, and just like I think it's kind of cool. I think we're kind of cracking open the thing on like the establishment and like figuring out we do have a role in government and we do
Mhm.
have a role as citizens to know and to pay attention and to hold accountable, which I think is important. And for some reason, I guess we just got complacent.
Right. And there's ways to get involved. Like you not saying that you have to like run for office or anything, but like you can help by like writing letters or like calling your legislators and telling them like what's important to you.
Dude, I wrote a letter to Marsha Blackburn and like
Ugh.
it's a mess writing to Republicans. Well, like I was like writing like you need to impeach Donald Trump. Well, she doesn't answer until after Biden got inaugurated.
I got the same email.
And it was like, why did you it's like you purposely waited until you could have that response of it doesn't make a difference now. And I'm like, bitch.
Right. Ugh.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I can attest to the frustration. Well, and even like
I don't even think I got a letter, an email back from everyone.
yeah, I think a lot of them either ignore it or
Yeah.
so actually I don't know if you heard about it, and I'm like part of this group on Facebook, but they're like trying to build this pipeline connection through Memphis. It's
What?
like yeah,
They
so they are wanting to build this. There's like it's called the Byhalia connection, and there's like a pipeline. I think it's through Valero, the gas station,
Mhm.
and they're plotted to build it, and it goes right through like South Memphis. These people are getting black communities are getting like these letters of like we're buying your property,
What?
and
You have
yeah,
to leave,
kind of yeah.
basically?
So like I had to write. They were asking people to write to people in office,
Right.
and some of them wrote back and some of them didn't. But I think there's a lot of advocacy for it, so that's really cool. But
Yeah.
it's also like completely fucked. Like it's just really weird.
There's no changing their
well,
minds.
well, they're waiting
All you gotta
on.
do is get an environmental impact report, and that can slow things down.
Well, I think that's how they were going about it, because a lot of people were voicing their concerns and like, please don't do this. People don't want this. And they're like, well, we already met all the standards. But so I
Oh.
think people were trying to figure out how they were not meeting the standards and like
Mhm.
doing that. And so I think they're waiting for a permit, maybe from the Army Corps or something. But maybe the Army Corps of Engineers.
Okay.
But they haven't given, I don't think they've given their permit yet. So like we
Okay.
emailed a bunch of those people and stuff. But
Oof.
yeah, I'll have to send it to you. It's
Yeah.
like, well, and it's crazy because it's like, what if the oil spills
Right.
in our water? Not to mention like these people's homes and their livelihoods.
Yeah, like I don't even. Yeah, definitely send me this because
Yeah.
I didn't even know about this.
Yeah, and like,
It goes under the radar.
and that's the thing too, like talking about how overwhelming it is. It's like I can only make sure that I send these emails right now, and like sharing and like talking about it sometimes like gives me anxiety, but
Right.
that also doesn't matter.
Yeah. Wow. There's so many things. Like there's so many like causes, you know?
Right. Yeah. I
Wow.
think we can just start by at
Start
least
like
being
locally, you
kind.
know?
But yeah.
Try to build your community up and then
Yeah. Yeah, I think
expand
we
your
were talking about
ambitions.
voting. Yeah. But yeah, I'll send that to you.
Cool.
Well, I guess getting into radical acceptance, the whole reason that, I mean, you were probably going to be on the podcast anyways, but me and Tristan were talking about something one day, and she mentioned radical acceptance. And I have this book by Tara Brach, and I haven't read it in a minute, but I've read it a couple times. But Embracing Your Life with the Heart of a Buddha. And it says, through her deep experience as a therapist, Buddhist meditation teacher, yogi, and mother, Tara Brach sheds light upon the vital subject of learning to realize inner completeness, wholeness, and healing. And so I thought Tristan would be a cool person to talk about, because we haven't even really had, I mean, we get into these topics, but we haven't like talked about it and like what you know in your career and academic things. So yeah, I guess, what is it?
Right.
What got you into it? I guess the whole,
Okay.
you talk.
Yeah. Well, radical acceptance is like one of those things that's like probably one of the hardest things to do. So it's a dialectical behavior therapy skill,
What does
which
dialectical mean?
it just means like two things that are seemingly opposite can be
Like
true at the
duality?
same time. Yeah, duality. Yeah. And so DBT for short, it's all about, because like some modes of therapy are about change and some are about acceptance. And DBT is about how to balance change and acceptance, because you can't just do one or the other. Like some things you need to accept and some things you can change. And so um learning like what works for you at that moment in the situation. And so
Talk about self-awareness.
yeah, and I try to teach radical acceptance to middle schoolers and
That's good.
teenagers and high schoolers. And I've also tried to explain it to even this was one of my favorite things to share, like when I was at Crestwin on the geriatric unit, and I was like telling them about radical acceptance, and they just seemed really intrigued by it. But like the same thing, like everyone's like, this is really hard. This is a hard skill. And it is. So basically it's about radical acceptance is all about accepting reality as it is, because pain and suffering in our life is inevitable. And so learning that we can't always change reality, and if we constantly try to push against what's reality, then we end up making ourselves miserable.
Sure.
And basically, one of my favorite ways to explain it is there are 4 options in every situation. And the first one is to solve the problem. So, like, say if you're faced with a problem, your first option, if you can solve the problem, okay, great, solve the problem. Sometimes you can't solve that problem. So, what can you do? Another thing you can do is maybe change how you feel about the problem. And so, changing like how you interpret this issue, like the situation, how like it's affecting you, and maybe trying to understand it a different way. So changing how you feel about it is another option in a situation. The third option, if you can't solve the problem and you can't change how you feel about it, you have to radically accept. Because if you don't radically accept, then you end up just fighting against yourself. And the fourth option is to stay miserable. So
yeah,
you can do one of these things, or you can stay miserable, which no one wants to do that. Sometimes, like, we'll ask, where do you think you fall into this? Like, are you the problem solver? Are you the one that's trying to think about how you feel and how you interpret the problem and change how you feel? Are you the one that just accepts everything as it is? Or are you one that stays miserable? And people sometimes will, especially like teenagers, they try to be funny. They're like, I stay miserable and
Right.
I want to stay miserable. Like, bleh, bleh, teenagers are fun. But the goal is acceptance, and it's acceptance of your situation now and of the past, because you
Yeah.
can't change the past. That's a hard pill to swallow sometimes because like, they always say like depression's in the past and anxiety's in the future. And all you can control is like what's in front of you right now. And if you can't change how you feel about it and you can't solve the problem, and to avoid more suffering, you're going to have to accept it, and it doesn't mean that you're approving of it. It doesn't mean that you like the situation. It just means that, hey, this is kind of what's going on. And so it just helps you to move forward. And so like something I like to think about, like an example makes sense right now, is the whole pandemic thing is like,
Yeah, for sure.
I can't make the coronavirus go away.
Did you ask it nicely?
I said, pretty please. I sent a letter. I sent flowers, and it wouldn't go away. I was like, come on. If I just like spray bleach, maybe it'll go. But it wouldn't go away, so I can't solve that problem.
Right.
I can't change how I feel about it because no one likes this. Like, no one wants to be socially distant. No one
Right.
wants to have to wear masks.
Right.
And I've accepted reality that, hey, like, there's a deadly virus and I could potentially get infected and potentially infect other people. Therefore, I have to accept that, hey, I have to be apart from people right now and I have
Right.
to do all these safety precautions in order to be healthy and for my friends and family to be healthy. So that's one thing where I've really had to think about radical acceptance.
Sure, yeah. It's a great example.
Yeah, especially because, like, in school, like, we were all, like, not doing okay at the beginning. Like, we're like, well, maybe I just will take a semester off because I don't want to go online kind of thing.
Right.
But kind of thinking, well, maybe I'm just acting irrational.
You're being dramatic.
Like, maybe I don't need to drop out of school for a semester.
Were you thinking about that?
It had crossed my mind. I was like, well, I don't know if I want to continue just being online if that's what we're going to do.
Right.
But I was like, well, the whole world is adjusting. Like, I can adjust too. Doesn't mean that I like it.
Right.
Or I'm happy about it.
Right.
It just means that
that's what's
going on.
Yeah.
And it actually, it takes a burden off, you know? Like, because there's so many things that I get upset about that are just out of my control.
Yeah.
But then I have to remind myself, like, this is out of my control. Like, I can't do anything about this. And then there are times where, say, you have accepted it and then an opportunity or something happens and you actually can solve the problem, or change how you feel about it, then by all means, like, do that. But until that shows up, and if that doesn't present itself to you, then acceptance is your only other option. And it's one of those things that you're gonna have to continually remind yourself to do, because
it's a practice.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's like coming into, like, a fork in the road. Like, am I gonna accept this or am I not gonna accept this? And just knowing, like, okay, well, what will happen if I don't?
Yeah.
Like, reasonably, and just thinking about that. And most of the times, like, it ends up not being like good for you, you know? Yeah. You look like you had a question.
Oh, well, I was just gonna say, like, this year I feel like has been a huge, like, lesson in radical acceptance. Just dealing with traumatic things that happen, dealing with the shit that's happened in my life, like dealing with all sorts of things.
Right.
And it's definitely been, a practice.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not fun.
It's not. And that's okay.
But yeah, you're right. It does help. Like, I guess the more you do it.
Right. Because, like, if you live in denial and if you don't accept reality, then you're living in, like, an alternate reality, you know? And
one of them parallel universes. Right.
You're not really, like, living in truth. And if you're not living in truth, then everything you do from then and forward is not going to be, like, authentic, you know? If you're just refusing to accept reality and continuing to go through your life denying that reality exists and denying that this pain is here, then you're just going to set yourself up for other pain later on by, like, how much you deny reality, which I could get in a whole, like, wormhole. But like, I was thinking about this talking to my mom the other day and how radical acceptance would really help her in her grieving that Donald Trump did not win, and my dad as well, because they have not accepted the reality that Joe Biden has won a free and fair election. And so they're harvesting onto this belief and refusing to accept reality. And then they're just making themselves miserable by doing that. Because, like, they can't change anything. They're obviously not going to change how they feel about it. They're definitely not accepting it right now. Like, they've accepted it to a tiny percent.
Like, surface level.
Yeah, like, they've acknowledged that he's won, but they're like, well, he's not my president kind of thing. And so that just sets them up for more obstacles going forward, you know? Because like if
Well, kind of like what you were talking about, like that resistance. Like
yeah,
if you, are just like,
it takes up so much mental strength too.
yeah, and energy.
Yeah, and just imagine if you were able to, even though it's not fun, accept it and move on. Like it's a liberating feeling and like freeing. Even if you're not happy about it, you don't approve of it, you don't like it, you're way against it. But if you understand it as reality and like something you can't change, then it's less likely to have a hold over you.
Yeah, that makes sense. Where do you think, I always have to be careful because I'm like, am I projecting this onto people? But like, where do you think the general consensus is right now in their radical acceptance journey based on your interactions with the people?
Like
Like, do you
people,
think they're on, like you said, like when you were asking your students, like what step do they think they're on? What step do you think? Like, where do you think people are in general?
yeah, I think that depends on the person because like you have those people that are problem solvers, like they will go to the ends of earth to try to like solve a problem. Like they'll think that there's always a solution. And so they might drive themselves crazy doing that. But then you have those people, I feel like I sometimes will fall into like changing how I feel about it because I think sometimes I'm able to do that and I don't have to accept it. And so thinking about like, hey, well, maybe there's an alternate way to think about the situation to where it doesn't bring me so much distress.
Right.
You know? Like I wouldn't like seeing like the silver lining in things is an example, but like I feel like that's like a surface level example of like trying to change how you feel about it. Um Another skill that you can use to change how you feel about things is called opposite action, which is basically like first you have to understand like what your emotion is and then what that action urge is to that emotion. And so say like if you're depressed and your urge is to self-isolate, you do the opposite.
So go to a party.
Yeah, you like go and socialize. And it's more likely that that will change how you feel about it. So if you do the opposite of what you would do in that situation, you can change how you feel. It's not
That's
like a
interesting.
foolproof thing. Obviously, it takes practice, but
Right.
that's one of the
That's cool.
skills that you can use to change how you feel, or just looking at alternative meanings, you know, like, okay, maybe this is like a bad thing for me, but maybe it's actually a good thing overall. But like, as far as like people in general, like, I think it's hard. It's really hard to accept reality because people like to think that they can, like, you have two different ends of the spectrum. Some people think that they, you know, like the whole locus of control thing, like some people think that they don't have control over anything in their life. Like everything is predetermined. They're set up for failure if they fail. They were set up for, like, if they are successful, it's not because of what they did, it's because of their environment. And then you have the people on the other side that are like, everything is up to me. Like if I fail, I'm a failure. If I succeed, it's because of what I did, not with anything else. Like it wasn't because maybe I was born into a family that has all these privileges and connections and I can get a good job and all this stuff. And so then you have, like, I guess people that are on all kinds of spectrums of that. And I think acceptance kind of comes in to where, like, accepting when you have control and when you don't.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. So yeah, it just depends on where you fall. Because like I sometimes think about that. I'm like, I like to think that I fall in the middle, but sometimes I'm like, have to catch myself being like blaming myself, you know? If, say, like if I don't get a review or something that says positive or whatever,
Right.
and just putting that on all on me and maybe not, well, hey, maybe this person just didn't have a good experience or
Right.
whatever it may be.
Yeah. So I feel like that's kind of a good segue because the way I learned about radical acceptance was about yourself. Like radically accepting who you are as a human being, flaws and all.
Right.
More so, I guess, than reality, which both I think apply.
Yeah.
And I think they're both.
Yeah.
Radical acceptance is like this big idea that can apply to both. But
yeah.
When you were talking about how you were like, sometimes I over identify and say like, oh, I could have like done something different or tried harder, or I thought that was a cool segue into talking about that. Do you, I guess, God bless. Have you seen that video of the kid and he's like, have you ever had a dream that
and then
that you
and yeah, I did. I have. I feel like my brain does that all the time.
Yes.
I even do that when I'm like teaching. I'm like, like when this happens, and you know what I mean. You know what I'm trying to say, guys. Come on, like where I'm going.
It's like
you can fill in the pieces. My brain can't.
Right, like an eater out. Yeah, I feel like I've definitely embraced radical acceptance, because I used to be like, oh my God, I just messed up. I just said the wrong thing. I just probably sounded so stupid. But now I'm like, we got Tristan's dogs up in the studio. But yeah, now I'm just like feeling like it's okay, and that it's probably just something that I need to embrace anyways.
Yeah, radical acceptance about yourself can be like some of the hardest.
For sure.
Because if there's like an aspect of yourself that you're not okay with, sure, you might be able to change it, but like I can't help that like I was born and was like something that I used to struggle with was like how I used to really like look down on myself for how tall I was back then when I was a kid. Like now I'm not like as tall, but like when I was a kid and I was like way taller than everyone, like I was like, why am I like, what am I eating too many vegetables? Like, can I slow this down? I drank coffee because I was like, I heard that stunt your growth. And also I have a coffee addiction now because of that. But like those things that you can't change, but especially like with teenagers, like trying to do radical acceptance with them, and like when
their hormones are all over.
Oh yeah, especially like it's hard for adolescents, especially like when maybe they don't have as much control over their lives, because like like they're minors and they still have to listen to their parent or guardian or whoever, so it can be harder for them to embrace reality when they don't always have control of reality. And so that's why it's also really important for them to learn about radical acceptance.
Like find where they do have control.
Right. And like harvesting
I wonder if that's because their prefrontal cortex isn't as developed too. Or
yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. I love kids and adolescents. They're fun.
Yeah, it's actually, this is probably, I wish you saw Wesley, but Wesley's really been struggling. Wesley's my 13-year-old brother.
I haven't seen him in so long.
But he's been struggling with like dealing with, he's like, y'all don't understand. Kids have it so hard right now. Like
they do have it harder.
School. We have all this stupid homework. Not to mention he's in 7th grade, which is like one of the worst years ever.
Oof.
But like he really feels so out of control.
And it's like where can you get this control in your life? It's like where can you
Yeah. Well, and I feel so bad too, because I wonder if he's been like not told, but just been unconsciously informed that he is a child and doesn't have control. And like I wonder if that's something too that we put on kids.
That's why a lot of kids will act out, is because they can control their behavior, but they may not be able to control their situation. Like I think about Reese, my cousin, how he grew up and like only ate like bananas and
I remember
fruit
that.
snacks and just like didn't have the best diet. But he had and my other cousin, they had like a chaotic childhood, and they like they had to move from Katrina and like relocate to Memphis, and their parents got divorced. Like, so that, like, what my cousin chose to eat was something that was in his
That
control
makes a lot of
because
sense. Nothing else was.
my aunt let him choose what to eat. And so like if he had that choice, he was going to make it. And so like kids and people in general, like they will control the things that they can, or at least try, because it's a way to get some kind of control
Like
over your life,
security,
you know,
yeah.
right? Because you can feel like Wesley and like out of control, and like you are a kid. So
Right. My mom was telling this story. I think he was like, I don't know, 7 or something. He's like, how come I can't drive? How come I can't go to work? It's not fair.
Oh, well,
I'm like, you can switch places with me if you
right.
want to.
It's like, well, one day you're going to wish you were back in 7th grade.
Right.
If only.
Not me. Not me.
Yeah.
I
Probably
like don't
not
have
me.
any access to any of my MySpace pictures.
Well,
Like I think I deleted them or hid the album, and I don't have my password anymore.
oh yeah, I don't have my password either. And
It's
then
probably a good
I
thing.
set up my MySpace with your email address because I didn't have an email address. Remember, it's like xmaddiehatesmeat at Gmail or something like. And obviously, you don't have that email anymore,
no.
so I couldn't reset my password anyway. So I have like this MySpace that's just like, it's like a time capsule almost,
Yeah.
where I'm still in like a relationship with my 10th grade boyfriend,
Oh my
and
God.
have like a whole blurb about him on how he's the greatest boyfriend on my page. And so that's just gonna be there forever, I guess, which I honestly it's kind of comical, so
Yeah.
it's weird
Thinking about MySpace. So I guess, what do you think? Why do you think? I guess you might have already answered this. Why do you think radical acceptance is so hard? Like, and that's what I was kind of asking you. Like, do you think the majority of the world practices radical acceptance?
Probably not.
Like, what? I'm just trying to figure out what is stopping them. Like, the the risk of fear and uncertainty is too great for them to change or to make changes. I think that's when my heart goes out to the world, because I'm just like, I remember what it was like to be sad and miserable, and like,
yeah. Well, I think it's so hard because most of the times when you're practicing this, you're having to accept things that you don't like. Like most of the times it's not you like accepting, oh, it's sunny outside, like
right,
positive things. Like the reason you have to use this skill is because you can't change how you feel about it. And so you're not happy about it. And so you end up having to accept it because you can't change it. And so I think that's why it's so hard. It's because it's not fun. Like,
right,
it's easy to do something that's fun and something that's enjoyable or something you agree with. But like when especially like if you've been trying, say for instance, you've been pushing against reality for such a long time and you finally accept it, it can kind of seem like you're betraying yourself, because like I've been thinking this way for so long,
like
and I've
your
been
old
fighting
self or
against,
something.
yeah, I've been fighting against this for so long. And the fact that I'm actually
It's almost like your
giving up.
identity.
Yeah,
like
you could feel like you're giving up on it, which that doesn't mean that you're giving up. It just means that there's nothing at this moment you can do. And you have to be honest with yourself. And it doesn't mean that there won't ever be anything. It's just at this moment you have to accept that, like, hey, like, it's not the way I want it to be right now. And that's okay, because, like, we can have an enjoyable life while still enduring pain and suffering, because that's going to come up anyways. And so, like, if you're able to go through life knowing that, because, like, if you're able to feel that pain and that suffering and accept it for what it is, then your happy moments are more meaningful. Like if you're constantly trying to make yourself happy and like solve all the world's problems and make life wonderful for yourself, then you're going to end up just making yourself miserable trying to chase that, trying to be
it's never
happy.
enough.
Yeah. And so that's why I think it's such an important skill to have, or if you want to call it a skill, or I don't know what you want to call it.
Philosophy or something.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely think, especially this past year, like embracing that duality and like understanding that, like you said, like this happiness and this pain is going to have to exist. Like, they both have to exist. I mean, I guess they don't have to if I don't want to believe in reality, but in my reality, I'm trying to figure out how to make sense of it. But
yeah. And dialectical thinking has helped me a lot with this, which I forgot to mention, just like how, like, just understanding that two things can be true at the same time. Like, I can be having a really bad day, and I know that, like, tomorrow might not be a bad day, you know?
like you have to put your animal to sleep or something.
Right. Like, I'm a hard worker, and I can be lazy, kind of thing. Like, you aren't all one, like, life isn't all one thing or the other. It can be both, and that's okay. And it can be a hard thing to wrap your head around. Like, it's actually like I've thought about it more to where I've actually changed the way that I've like actually talked. And so instead of saying but in like just normal conversations, I say and. Like, hey, I'm running late, but I'll be there soon. Hey, I'm running late and I'll be there soon. It just kind of like changes. Like, I think like but is kind of like putting like a negative on it. And like, well, but I'm doing like, it's like almost like an excuse kind of thing. But like in most situations, like most sentences,
like adding a negative connotation to I'm late.
Right. Like, I'm having like, I have to pay into taxes, and I appreciate that there are taxes because I want good social services or something.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many ways you can just a normal, like, if you just stop yourself, like, you just pause, like, when you know you're going to say but and change it to and, it can actually just change just how you, I don't know, just kind of like change things in my head almost
like you're rewiring.
Yeah,
I've definitely done that with, it's kind of separate, but I've done that with gratitude or like always apologizing for things instead of sorry. I just say thank you, and I feel like that's shifted too. It's almost like I'm not putting myself in this like horrible, like, oh my God, I keep fucking up.
Right. Yeah.
Thing.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those mental things. But it's just something so small that I think it helps me with radical acceptance. Because if you understand that more than one thing can be true at the same time, maybe it's easier to accept reality when that's true.
True. Yeah, and that's been actually a big topic in like therapy for me. It's just like I do have a lot of all or nothing thinking. And so like learning to observe that and observe when that's actually coming out of my words or my thoughts, and like being able to objectively say, okay, well, that was pretty all or nothing, or I don't know why it's so much easier to generalize. It's so much easier to be like, everything's fucking stupid.
Right. My boyfriend's mad at me, so he must hate me. Like, it must be my fault kind of thing, or whatever you might be thinking about.
What do you think creates that?
I think it might be easier. Like, I think we naturally want to find a cause for things.
You don't think there is one?
Oh, I think there's always, like, everything is cause. Like, all behavior is cause.
I was like, wait a second, my reality's crumbling.
Oh, yeah, no, I do think that. But, like, you don't always have the answers. Like, you can't always know what that is. Just knowing that it is caused, maybe you don't know why, but, you know, there is a reason.
I think I just asked that so that it's like you would do less of that in the future. Or like, I guess they're called cognitive distortions, right? I'm sure we've talked about this. What's your relationship with like depth psychology and like ego and stuff? Like Carl Jung's type stuff?
Oh.
You go, oh.
I really like the whole cognitive distortions and like how it's like it's really interesting like cuz like they're just defense mechanisms.
Sure. Okay, I think that's what I was like getting at. It's just like talking about the role. Because I think I'm really interested in like the spiritual ego in a spiritual context.
Right.
But I'm sure you have ego in like a psychological context.
Yeah.
Does that ever intersect psychology and spirituality?
Oh yeah.
Do y'all separate it?
No,
Because I know it's different from religion.
yeah, and that's one reason why I really like counseling too, is because it's so like holistic and mind body connection kind of thing, and how like spirituality can be a tool, because a lot of people they find strength in spirituality,
For
and
sure.
so being able to speak to that and utilize that in sessions is really valuable, because a lot of people will, just like religion, like they find comfort in it, like knowing that there's something more, like they're not just
Like nihilistic or
right, like there's more to just me, and like I'm part of something larger and more important, and how people can find comfort in that can be really powerful. So I don't remember what your question was and if they're separate.
Yeah, I was just getting into that. Well, I was just thinking of the cause of like all or nothing thinking. And then you said defense mechanisms, and then that's what made me remember like the ego. And I was just
Oh, yeah.
thinking of like something I heard was like the ego only comes out when feeling threatened.
Yeah, to protect itself.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, because well, it's like I have thoughts, but they're not like fully
Like you've thought about it, but you haven't like
right.
thought.
Yeah, but I see where you're going with that.
Because I think my big thing was like going from like, I think that's why I didn't go to grad school. Like because I had discovered spirituality and I had taken that yoga class, and like my whole world changed. And like I know they do like research and stuff in spirituality and mindfulness and stuff like that, but I think I was just like, I just took a different trajectory.
Yeah.
So that's just always been an interesting intersection for me.
Yeah, well, I definitely think they can intersect, because a lot of like what I'm interested in is like figuring out what works. And
What do you mean?
like
Anything?
like what's
What methods work?
yeah, like like evidence-based.
Sure.
And spirituality can be evidence-based, like like you can have real and like measurable change through exploring spirituality and embracing that on whatever level you want to, or comfortable embracing that, because a lot of people, I like really like strength based, and so like what is like how can you find strength like within yourself or outside yourself? Well, both, and spirituality is definitely something that I think a lot of people find strength in, and just like acknowledging the fact that there's more than just like having a job and like being successful,
Paying taxes.
right? Like what's actually, it's basically figuring out like what's important to you. And I think that can definitely mix with science, like
For sure.
because like what's important to you can change, and it can be very different from someone else. So I think a lot of times I think about values and like what your values are, because like spirituality can be a value that you have, and then your values also can affect your spirituality, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I just thought it fit along too with radical acceptance. Just like, at least the way I make sense of it is just being part of like this bigger whole.
Right.
And like, I know nobody knows the answers, but if I'm part of this huge whole that somehow created the universe that we live in, then I am kind of like a smaller piece of that, and like finding wholeness through that and trying
Yeah,
to make
because some
that
people find
parallel.
comfort in that, you know?
Well, it's just really helped me with radical acceptance and like, I am already whole because I'm part of this bigger thing. And so even kind of like going to that duality thing again, like there are bad things exist, but I am also like infinite and perfect and whole.
Right.
Period.
Right. One of my favorite assumptions of DBT is like, I am trying the best I can and I can try harder. So like,
what does an assumption mean
it's
in
just
that
like,
context?
just like a belief of the
Okay.
mode of therapy. And so like, that's one of their assumptions is like, you can be trying as hard as you can and you can try harder. Cause like we always have more room in us to
Sure.
grow. And I don't know, that just always like sticks out to me. And it kind of helps me like give grace to other people. Like everyone is trying as hard as they can.
Yeah.
Just with whatever they have. Like they're trying as hard as they can, and everyone can try harder. Like everyone could put in much more effort. And that's kind of helped me like thinking about that. Like I like not being so hard on myself sometimes. Like I was trying, like with what I had, like I was doing the best I can.
Yeah, it's hard to remind yourself of that.
Yeah, it is. That's why.
Because I'm like, why can't you try harder?
Yeah, but like at that given moment, like that's the best that I had, and being okay with that.
That's beautiful. Do you feel like, I remember you were talking about going in counseling and you, in general, like grew in self-awareness. Do you personally feel like your spirituality has changed? Do you feel like there's any sort of relationship or anything that you've noticed in your beliefs or values as you've like gone on this journey?
Yeah, I think it's definitely helped me be more open to other modes of thinking. And it's just made me more appreciative of like life in general, and also like wanting to like live life, you know, and not just because the reason I work so hard is because like I get joy, like if it's for anyone, it's like for myself. Like I enjoy like being in school and like pursuing this career and like going, like I want to do something that I love, and like it's not about money, because like people always like to say, well, you're gonna be making lots of money when you graduate, and I'm like, do you not know what field I'm going into? Like no. But anyways,
well, then I also hate when people are like, you're not gonna get any money, and you're just like, I know, leave me alone.
it's like, that's not what I'm here for.
Right.
Yeah, I definitely think I've been more like practice more like mindfulness, and I really try to be mindful in everything that I'm doing. It's the hardest thing. Like it really is, because
Well, it's another practice.
yeah, well, you know, like I also have ADHD, and so like I'm also like going crazy at the same time. But like trying to be like, okay, I'm actually doing this right now, and I don't need to worry about what I'm gonna eat for dinner or how I'm gonna finish this paper due on Tuesday. Like I'm like here talking with you, and I don't get to see you that often. And so like being in the moment and like actually being present and is really something I've strived to do. And like it really wasn't like a priority. Like I was always like multitasking, and multitasking is a myth, by the way. But
yeah, I think they talk about like in Zen psychology or
yeah,
something.
Yeah.
To like do one thing at a time.
Right. Because
That's
like
what I'm
you
trying
never can do, like you can try to do like multiple things, but you're not ever going to do like give it 100% if you're doing all these different things at once.
Right.
So I definitely think going through this program has helped me be more mindful and like embrace mindfulness and just like be more appreciative of like life. And like I've always been an optimist. You probably know that.
But almost, and I'm sure you can agree too, just almost that toxic positivity optimist. Because
Yeah.
I have had to like acknowledge that within myself. And
Right. And like being okay with
almost
being
like,
sad.
I'm uncomfortable if you're uncomfortable. Everything's fine.
Right. And like trying to always like mend things.
Sure, yeah.
And I am okay with not being okay. And like if other people aren't okay, like and they're around me, like I'm okay with that. Like it's not gonna bother me. Like I never was really uncomfortable with other people. Like say for instance, someone like crying or something. Like that never really made me uncomfortable before. I guess that's another reason why this feels good for me because there's a lot of crying
You're
people.
like, everyone around me's crying.
But yeah, it's just more appreciative of human nature too. I'm one to like give people like the benefit of the doubt.
Sure.
And I think that's just kind of like made that even more apparent for me and like solidified that. Because like that was always a part of me, but I think I have a more positive view of humans, I guess. Like, yes, I probably say that I hate people sometimes, but normal, like I truly like am appreciative of like humans and like what we can do and how we, like navigate life. And it's just interesting to me.
For sure. I'm just like over here imagining like these vines like interweaving, and it's like we started our journey together, and I'm sure I've shared, but like my parents were divorced, and so we didn't see each other a lot.
Right.
And like especially through high school because I moved, but like
Right.
it's so wild that we're like still like fucking like parallel on our journeys, even though we took completely different routes.
Yeah.
Because like I just think what you were just sharing about like being present and mindfulness and valuing others and appreciating life is just like that's right where I'm at too.
Right.
And so
Well, I feel like every time we get together, we always are like on the same wavelength.
yeah, maybe our souls just
Probably.
decided that was gonna be.
Yeah. We didn't always get along. You're probably the friend I had like the most fights with growing up.
That's because we were like sisters.
Yeah.
Hallie with twins.
Twins.
I watched that recently too. I think I watched that before Freaky Friday.
Oh.
It was a good movie.
I haven't seen it in a while.
Disney Plus.
Oh.
We like have our membership until I don't know. We only have it a few more days. I gotta watch Soul again.
Oh no. Yeah. We have one. You can borrow it.
But borrowing the logins.
Gotta tell Taylor though. He might be like,
That's so funny.
Yeah. I can't remember what we were talking about then.
Just how we've been doing our own thing, but then coming back together and still being like on the same wavelength.
Yeah. Well, I always feel like out of all my friends, like we can always just pick up where we left off. Cause like we can have a few weeks without talking and then, but like we talk, it's like normal.
I'm like, help me.
Yeah. Normally it's like, oh my goodness, help. Like what do I do?
I think it's good that we're like that though for each other, because it is hard and overwhelming sometimes when people want like all of you all the time.
Oh yeah, it can be exhausting.
Because I try to give myself to myself, and that's hard.
It's like I don't know if I have enough time for me.
Right.
So
I'm
spreading
setting those
myself
boundaries.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting. Like this is like off topic, I guess. Like I've grown more into like an introvert as I've gotten
Same.
older. I don't know
didn't
what it
realize,
is.
but I like need alone time.
Yeah, me too. Like before I was like I never really needed alone time. Like and I always like wanted to be like hang out with my friends and
Right.
be
Almost, like,
somewhere
need
doing
that
something all the time.
socialization.
But now I'm like I don't want to do anything, and I think that's okay. So
I wonder if it's like correlated with like how self-aware you are, or like maybe you realize the benefit of like
Yeah. Well,
who you are.
I guess I've learned that I don't need other people to entertain me, and I can
Same.
entertain myself.
And it's probably more fulfilling that way.
Yeah, because you can't depend on others to entertain you.
Setting up for disappointment.
Yeah. You try.
Well, that was awesome. I'm like still like, holy shit.
We gotta do this again.
Yeah. I mean, we're always welcome to have this. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
We could just talk.
Yeah, we don't need the microphones.
Yeah.
But I just like,
need
content.
Oh no, I know what you mean. No, like we could do another podcast too.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, because I don't want to like use your degree, but like I don't have a degree, so like
you have a degree.
I know, but I'm just saying like having a bachelor's in psychology is not the same as a PhD in psychology, or like your expertise. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm not an expert, but
you're the most expert I know.
I like talking about things that I'm passionate about.
For sure. Well,
so
yeah, I think. Wait,
and I'm still not an expert in radical acceptance or DBT, and I still enjoy talking about it.
And
so,
well, you're well versed and you've studied, which
I'm not a great public speaker, even though this isn't in public.
It just takes practice.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, you have the degree, and I'll talk to the public. It's perfect.
Okay, that works. We always talk about starting a business or something, so.
Well, dude, like, I'll have to get you talking with Davis, but Davis we all want to do, like, some sort of holistic healing festival. And, like, he's,
Oh, yeah, I remember you told me about that.
He's on the yoga side, and so, like,
that's cool.
Mind, body, spirit.
That sounds awesome.
I mean, I'm not really, like, expertise in spirituality, but I've also learned that you can have everyday expertise in things that you experience, so.
Oh, that's cool. I guess that makes sense, though.
Like, my experiences are valid.
You're an expert in yourself.
Exactly.
Okay.
But yeah, we just have to.
Just use your experiences. Like, your experiences are valuable.
Yeah, we'll figure out all that stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, thanks so much, Tristan. It's been
thanks for having
the coolest freaking thing, and getting to interview you after all these years is
I know, I'm sad. I'm glad we actually were able to like schedule a time. We were both free.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, you know me. I'm always free.
Well.
I'm just kidding.
You know.
Not for long.
Yes, not for long.
I look forward to the next time we can have another podcast.
Yay.
And I'm sure your passions will grow. Good luck on your dissertation and finishing Zoom school. You're going to be a Zoom graduate.
University.
Okay, well, I will talk to everybody later. Bye, Tristan.
Bye.
If you'd like access to more podcasts and a postcard each month, check us out on patreon.com/embracemadness.